Welcome, one and all, Nyanko here, and today I am going to be talking about a show and a manga. They're both the same title, but I decided instead of making two videos, I just do it into one. So today we are talking about Black Clover! Now, love it or hate it, Black Clover is your typical shonen. You know, you've got your underdog character, you've got his like super talented frenemy slash rival slash best friend slash brother, and it's about their story, about how they get to their goal of being the best at whatever it is they want to be. But with Black Clover, that is becoming the Wizard King, because it's basically Naruto meets fairy tale amalgamated into like a medieval setting. That is Black Clover. So, full disclosure, when I first tried the manga for the anime for Black Clover, I wasn't overly impressed. I didn't like Asta at all. He was far too screechy and far too whiny, and I just didn't click with any of the characters, so I kind of left it and just was like, nah, I'm done. Bye-bye. Now, this was when it first came out in Japanese, and it wasn't dubbed at that point, and then I came back around to it there probably last year during COVID, because I noticed it had been dubbed and that all the episodes were out and stuff, and I saw that it had been like cancelled and they'd stopped making the anime, and I was like, well, I mean, I got 170 odd episodes, maybe I'll give it a go. Went in and watched it in English and actually found it more tolerable than when I watched it in Japanese. So I binged it. I think in about 3 days I watched all of it, and I really, really liked it. Gelled with the characters more, really enjoyed the storylines, and then I got to the last episode and I was like, wait, you leave it where? No. The hell? This is not fair. Turned around and was like, give me the manga. And then found the manga on Manga Seisha and continued reading from where the anime left off. Although I did read most of it in a single night, and now I'm reading it weekly, so my memory is a little bit hazy on parts, because I think I stayed up all night reading the manga. So now I remember some of the more recent stuff, but it's all kind of a blur in my mind. It's all blurry, so I'm probably going to have to go back and just read it slower. Because I do enjoy it, actually. I really do have to admit. Black Clover it's enjoyable. It gets a lot of hate that some of it is justified, some of it isn't. So, like, I understand the hate against Asta being very whiny and shouty and loud. I also get some of the hate that Yuno can be very one-dimensional, but especially when you get into the manga, Yuno gets some serious development, and he really does get his ass handed to him quite a few times. Do I forget to drink something today, people? Anyway, yeah, so I probably should, yeah, so like, as I said, the general gist is basically just Naruto meets fairy tale. But no, Asta is our main character alongside Yuno. Asta is born without any magical power at all in a world where if you have no magic, basically you're useless, because, like, it's a magical world. Yuno, on the other hand, is born with ridiculous amounts of magic, is super powerful, super talented, and everything goes his way. But, I mean, they were both orphaned, and they were both left in an orphanage at the same day, and as you learn more, so as you go through the manga and through the anime, you slowly learn more about Asta's origins, and you learn about Yuno's origins. Now, I'm not going to go and spoil anything in case you haven't read it or seen it, but they're both really heart-wrenching stories that make you, like, empathise with the characters even more. So, especially Asta's backstory, it's really sad, because he technically has a big brother. And he does end up becoming reunited with his big brother, and that's kind of like the final couple of episodes, but Asta doesn't realise it, and I don't think Lieb realises just who Asta is at that moment in time. It is hinted later on that Lieb knows more about Asta than he's letting on. But yeah, you know, they go on and they become so Lieb kind of comes in at like 176 in the 170s, and Lieb is a demon. look how cute he is, who was also like Asta. He was magicless and was kind of thrown out of hell for it. Asta has no magic at all, but then ends up getting a 5-leafed grimoire that has different swords that have anti-magic, and then you learn as well as you go through that Lieb is actually supplying the anti-magic through the grimoire to Asta. So that actually kind of makes Asta super powerful, because in a world where magic rules all, the ability to nullify magic, extremely handy. And then you've got Yuno on the other hand, who has wind magic, and very powerful wind magic at that. I'm not going to spoil his backstory because it's really, really good to watch. But he grows, he becomes slightly less emotionless, he becomes more open, he starts being much more friendly, and so on and so forth. And then you've got all the other background characters, or side characters, or supporting cast, or even just main characters in their own right, because they all kind of have a backstory that's fleshed out, that you then find more about them. So when they each come in, so especially with the Black Bulls, who Asta then joins, the Magic Knights, basically. And there's like, so how many is there? There's the Golden Dawn, there's the Silver Eagles, there's the Purple Peacock, the Pink Peacocks, or the Purple Peacocks or something? Purple Peacocks, I think. There's the Grey, no, it was the Grey Deer, it's now the Aqua Deer. You've got the Green Mantises, you've got the Black Bulls, you've got the Crimson Lions, you've got, I feel like I'm missing someone. Am I missing someone? If I'm missing anyone, they'll be up here anyway for editing. And there's a big, once a year, there's a big tournament kind of thing where you have to go and fight and show off your abilities, and then you get picked to go into one of these houses, basically. So a bit like Harry Potter, I guess. And Asta ends up getting chosen to be in the Black Bulls with Captain Yami, who has darkness magic, which again is quite rare. He then makes friends with Magna, Luck, Finral, Vanessa, Grey. Oh, there's more. And others in the guild. No, not in the guild. In their squad. There we go. And then, like, again with Yuno, he ends up becoming friends with who he's put in a squad with. So they kind of form teams within the squads. This is Yuno's team. There we go. Words were eluding me. You've got Mimosa and you've got Glasses Dude. Can't remember his name. Again, I'll put his name under this thing. And they become really good friends. Mimosa is actually cousins with Noelle, who is part of the Black Bulls. Now, Noelle's backstory is really good as well, and then her progression and her ability to like overcome her trauma is really, really good as well. The writing is just impeccable. You know, there's not a single character that's forgotten about. Everybody gets a backstory. Everyone's character is fleshed out. You know, if you didn't fully like them at the beginning, you may not... I mean, you may still not like them by the end. But there's certain characters that have redemption arcs. There's certain characters that you're like, ugh, playboy. And then, like, you find out more behind it. And so on and so forth. I have to, like, tip my hat to the mangaka. Because, damn... There's other mangas out there that I've read where there's been like a huge ensemble cast and then they've just forgotten about several of the characters for like 100 chapters and then suddenly it's like boom, oh, I didn't forget, but what was I doing with them kind of thing. Whereas with Black Clover, every week is really gripping, especially with the manga. I really love the animation, and the way that they turned the manga story into the anime was really really good. I talk for a living. Asta actually does stop being such a whiny, shouty brat, and he actually develops through the story, which is really good. You know, you've got a little bit of romance in there, but there's not actually too much. So Noelle and Mimosa, the two cousins, both have a crush on Asta, but Asta is totally oblivious, like totally oblivious to it. Has not a clue. You've also got Charlotte. Oh yeah, the Blue Rose. That's who I forgot. So Charlotte, who's the captain of the Blue Rose team, has a huge crush on Yami, and that actually does end up playing out into the manga. And there is a confession scene, and then Yami's still kind of oblivious to it. And then like Finral's like, dude, she confessed to you. She loves you, kind of thing. And Yami's like, was that what that was? I had no idea. Which is quite funny. Like, I've watched it in English mainly. I haven't actually seen any of it in Japanese, bar those first 2 episodes, and I just couldn't take how screechy, high-pitched Asta's voice was. So I recommend watching it in English. Just from my own point of view, I enjoyed watching it in English way more than I enjoyed it in Japanese, and that's unusual for me. There's not many shows that I'm like, I prefer the English dub over the sub. Normally I'll watch both, and I'll enjoy both for what they are. But no, this time round I have to admit, hands down, I prefer the dub over the sub. Feel free to roast me in the comments down below for that opinion, but it is my opinion. And then, yeah, like I've been reading the manga weekly, and we're currently into the final arc. So the big bad has been revealed, and now Asta is currently training. And we actually get to see more of Yami's homeland. So whenever Yami's talking about his homeland, he's like, yeah, land of the sun, it's so far away, I can never get back, blah, blah, blah. And then Asta ends up getting sent there because of the big bad. And so, yeah, we're starting to learn a bit more about Yami's backstory, even though Yami's not currently in it, which is really good. And he's been building certain things, and like the building block, you can see the building blocks being put into place, and now everything's kind of coming together, and it's really enjoyable. I would highly recommend, if you can't stand watching the show because of Asta's voice, definitely give it a read. It is a good story. It's really fun. It's made me cry. It's made me laugh. You know, it's made me go ooh, and then ah, and ee. That is just how I describe emotions these days. It is all just random blurs of incomprehensible noise. So yeah, definitely do give the manga a go, or try the anime. If the anime isn't for you, do try the manga. It's just a bit easier to palate Asta sometimes, because you can't physically hear the pitch that he is shouting at in your ears. It is just on your eyeballs. So yeah, that has been my little thing about Black Clover. Again, I'm doing my reviews are just going to range in time from like 10 minutes to 25 minutes. It all just depends on what I'm feeling and stuff like that. So yeah. Is there much more to say? Oh yeah, there's unrequited love. But no, yeah, definitely try and give Black Clover a go. If you've given it a try and you've given up on it, let me know why. If you have any opinions on Black Clover and you've already seen it, feel free to comment them down below. I love to chat about these things. Like I always say, talk to me, guys. Let me know opinions. And yeah, other than that, my darlings, much love. And I will see you in the next one. Also, don't forget, eat something, drink something, and no forgetting your medication if you're on any. Love you all, kittens. Au revoir!